Hey, what's up? It's your boy Los LOS, and you are watching the Community Leaders Podcast. And today on this table, we have Kim J. Check it out.
My name is Kim J. I'm the training manager, consultant, and senior community health worker with Sinai Urban Health Institute, which is the research arm of Sinai Chicago on the west side of Chicago. That entails me training new community health workers and those that have been in the role for a while, getting them their foundational core competencies to be prepared to do the work ahead of them. And also I support the managers who oversee them. It's been a good 14 years of transitioning from corporate accounting to public health. Well, I can definitely say when I first started, I didn't think I could do it because some of the things that I had seen in community were just unbelievable. And when I got in the rhythm of going to do home visits and seeing clients, one of the most memorable components was when I helped a mom get her molded flooring removed because she didn't want to make a stink to management. So she lived with it. She just covered it with a rug, and her daughter had asthma. So when I came to see her, I was able to help get that taken care of. And she wrote me a letter just saying that I changed her life because she didn't realize how depressed she was in her own four walls. And she stayed away because she couldn't stand to be there. But after the floors were changed, she was like, I can invite company over for coffee now. I can just be in my space and be proud. And she said, you don't know what you did for me and my girls. And moments like that keep me motivated to do the work. So the people who come through training to be community health workers, they come sometimes with questions because a lot of the things that people are told about community health are not really clear. And they don't know if they can do the work because many professions in public health have a degree behind it. But when you come into the role of community health work, you can come in with as little as your GED at high school diploma and be trained and be ready to do the work that supports professional clinicians, which is really great. So I get to share those realities with them and to see them be excited and get motivated about the work has been so inspirational. And moments that I get like that keep me attached to public health. I have one daughter who's a makeup artist and hairstylist. I'm pretty proud of that kid. My one and only, though. Her name is Camille with a K. And for the very first time, I met another Camille with a K 2 days ago. But yeah, Camille with a K. And again, she brings me such joy because I'll tell you a little secret. Most parents are pushing their children, you got to go to do the regular four-year college thing. That's all that they see blinders like that. It's just that way. But I really feel like promoting creativity. And when she gave the desire of wanting to be on movie sets and, do television shows, I was like, if that's what you are passionate about, let's make sure this gets done for you. So I poured into her with that passion, and she got the Vanguard Makeup Artist Award with the HAPA Awards, which is Hollywood African Prestigious Award. I'll tell you about that later. But she did get that award, and now she's the creative director for the makeup artist for that show. So just seeing her passion flourish just reminds me that everybody's path looks a little different, but the goal of being successful is still the same, but it looks different for each and everybody that chooses. West Side, East Garfield Park, but I've been in North Lawndale, I've been in Austin, and all of those parts of the city just resonate so richly because community, they behave a little different, but at their core, they're still my cousin. Well, I am the youngest of 9. I have 6 sisters and 2 brothers. I adore my family. They really speak life to my life when I'm not in my best of moods. And I will share that recently the 2 mother figures in my life, my 2 eldest sisters, because there's a 17 age difference between my sisters that passed away and myself, they left they left unexpectedly and left a bit of a void in my life because of how much they meant to my life. I was in ministry with her, and the other one, we were really all in ministry together. And those were my second mothers, and I just love them deeply. But I'm one of 9. I was, I'm not going to say I was spoiled because I was not. Think about it. You got 6 sisters. Everybody had a pair. I was the odd one out. I was the 7th girl. So my 2 eldest siblings hung out together. The middle siblings hung out together. And the second set of younger siblings, they hung out together. So I was kind of like by myself, creating things, grabbing their makeup out of their purses. They were looking for it. I had it. Drawing, just being my mother's best friend, my mother and my father's best friend. But I was kind of a favorite little girl. But yeah, I was just being a little creative, totally redhead little girl at 10. At 15, I had a lot of responsibility, I must say, but I was in the arts at my high school, very, very excited about singing in the madrigals and doing plays and just being a teenager to some degree. I will say because my siblings had children right along with my mom, we all grew up together, but they still saw me as auntie, even though we're like a couple of years apart. So I was being a good auntie too. At 20, I was kind of a sheltered little girl or girl in my family. So I was really trying to discover the world, going to college, trying to find myself and about who I really wanted to be. I always loved art. I've always loved music. I'm not a musician as far as an instrument because I never could stop sucking my thumb. So the piano teacher you got to go. But I do like to sing and did some things in that regard as far as plays and things of that nature. School, I was really connected to ministry too, though. My mom and my dad both were very prestigious in the churches that we attended. So a lot of things that I did was really related to church. But I would find myself doing things that made me happy in an artistic way. I went to 2 high schools. I went to Crane High School, which was on the west side, and I went to Notre Dame High School for girls for my last 2 years, which is on the north side. And that was indeed a journey because everybody at the school, it was different, I will say. There were not many people that looked like me in the school, so sometimes some of the interactions were different. But for those who were there, and we persevered and gained some good friends, gained some great insight, and were afforded a lot of opportunities that if I had gone to, really unfortunate to say, inner city schools, I wouldn't have had all of the opportunities that I was able to take advantage of by being at that North Side school. Well, went to a couple of colleges. Went to, I really, sometimes when I talk about my life, it's like, whoa, this is a big tale of a lot of unfortunate events. When I first went to college, I went away to college downstate, and something happened with my family, and I had to come back and help my mom. And then I went to Wright College for some time, and I had to stop. And then I went back and got my degree, my bachelor's. But it was just a journey of different events because a lot of things were happening along my journey. Being like one of 9, my family just experienced a lot of things. So my journey wasn't a smooth ride. It was ebbs and flows. And I was glad I was able to finish in 2013. Married with a baby. My husband was my first everything, And I wanted to have the kind of marriage that my mom and dad had. So I was married and working for Spiegel, which is a credit card company. They moved to the south side of Chicago. And from there, they went to Oak Brook. And I did credit approvals for Spiegel. So at 30, working for American Express Tax and Business Services, which was a beautiful experience because I learned so much, which is the corporate accounting world that I came from. Dealt with accounts like city colleges, Illinois State Lottery, different big companies. When you think about collections, it wasn't like I would send them letters like, you owe me money. I would say your $1 million is due. How do you want to pay for that? It was a gentle collection process. But yeah, I was working and taking care of my family. Wow. I think about the history of the West Side. I think about my family legacy on the West Side of Chicago. And I think about my community. I think about all the things that I want to see us be and do. And even I think about when my mom brought us to the West Side, we always lived here. And when we would ride by different buildings, they would tell us the stories. And I was like, wow, this is such history and such legacy. And I'm glad to be a part of it. And what keeps me here is that I want to see the greatness come back to the West Side of Chicago, including mental wellness and greatness. So I stay here because I want to see it real time. When I think about what's missing on the West Side of Chicago, I think more compassion and more empathy, and not necessarily in the act itself, but in what healthcare looks like and what help looks like and what hope could look like. Many of our community members have gone through so many tragedies, and they not only hold them in their mind, the cells of their bodies hold on to those memories. And when you think about telling someone or encouraging them to get help, they go back to historical atrocities and they think, no, I'm not going to do that. Or we don't talk about our business outside of our house. What happens at home stays at home. And a lot of that kept us broken. But when you're talking about how do we shift that narrative, it's about becoming what people need and not a cookie cutter approach from one neighborhood to another, because it looks starkly different. So I think if there was access to the basics that gave people a sense of integrity, I'm a person being here, that would help change some of the outcomes, because we have been hurt on a cellular level, and we have to go through a process of undoing all those years of hurt and pain. And it's not going to happen overnight, but it has to happen with intention. And we need programs in place. We need facilities in place. And we need people in those places that look like the people that they're serving, so they feel heard and supported and understood. So I think we need more intentionality in our community for health and mental health. Well, my day is a mixture of things. On my professional level, I am training beautiful energies to be in this profession of community health, because by definition, a community health worker is someone who comes from their community, has a strong understanding of the communities that they serve, and knows how to relate with community. They can take those skill sets and learn the conditions of the community, like asthma or diabetes or heart failure, and link people to that care. And part of my day is really just motivating people and sharing. I am seen not just in my family, but in circles that I am in. Like, I'm the go-to. Kim, what do you think? How do you feel? Tell me something. So a lot of my day is just spent being available to folks who need me. And I know that may not be the best thing, because sometimes drawing the line looks very, very nearly invisible. But I take it back to the space of remembering that people need people. And sometimes folks don't have people in their life. And because of what I do on my day-to-day, people adopt me as their people. So if they need me, I try to be there for them. But I do have fun. I see my family. I see my friends. And I pour back into myself through that avenue. Ooh-wee, now you're taking me back. Oh, see? Okay, so here we go. Met my husband out of high school. He was a friend of my brother. My brother didn't want me to date him, but he introduced me to him. And like I said, I married him. We got married. We had my daughter. But we got divorced when she was about 2.5, 3 years old, because he desired a lifestyle that didn't align with raising a child or having a wife. So we had to part ways. I've been divorced longer than I've been married. And I have a wonderful stepson. His name is Marquise, that I have just welcomed into my life because he's a good boy. So he and my daughter are as thick as thieves. But my marriage, not so much. And my husband, his name was Kevin, Camille and Kevin. He passed away last June. And so my children went through a journey, but I supported them through that. And so now Kevin is in heavenly places. I was trying to tell you some of these stories. You're like, oh my goodness. But the reality is it motivates me. Some days are not as easy, but the reality is life goes on. And I use those experiences, those emotions to be an improved version of myself, work through them, right? And then as I support somebody else going through it, I can share my journey to say it looks like this, and it may not be a happy day every day, but happy days do exist. So, yeah. So, like I said, I love hanging out with my family. We get together, we sing, we dance. I love traveling. I love theater. A live show just gives me the goosebumps. And concerts. My family does a really fantastic show every year. At Christmas time, it's called the Scott Family Extravaganza, where we all get together. It's a dinner show. We do all the performing, and folks come in and get to see that and just have a great time during the holidays. So my family is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get into. It's like, okay, what are we doing today? But I love them so, and I just hang out with them in that regard. Just being creative, being funny, having experiences. Yeah. The reality is, we never went to Disney World. She would love to go to Disney World. And I think that would heal a lot of some of her childhood trauma, because I wasn't the perfect mom. I, did some things in relationship that wasn't ideal for either one of us. And I think that if I could do that for her, that would be a very healing moment. So I'm working towards that, to get my adult daughter to Disney World. See, so I don't feel so bad. But yeah, I want to get that girl to Disney World. And I could just see it now. She probably run like a baby. I would get her all the Mickey ears she wanted. Yeah, we're gonna have a good time in Disney World when we get there. Yeah. What would I do for Kim J? I want to take her on a trip, on an unplugged trip to the Maldives. I want to sit on the water and look at the sun, rise and set. I don't want to talk. I want to just be. Life has been throwing potatoes at me, and I want to get away from the potatoes. I just want to be in a space where I can unplug, replenish, be creative, because I write, I do a little singing sometimes, and I want to be in a space where I can restore. So I'll be in the Maldives. Oh my gosh. So I do a little bit of little house music, a little soulful house. And, gospel is always attached to my life because I grew up in church since I was born. And when I think about a song that I did a remix of, it's called Be Grateful. And it's an old gospel song, but it has a house music beat. And it goes, God has not promised me sunshine. That's not the way it's going to be. But a little rain mixed with God's sunshine, a little pain makes me appreciate the good times. Be grateful. So I could sing that song all day because the reality is every day is not going to be a great day. And I want to get too emotional about it because I might. Every day is not going to be a great day, but it wasn't promised to be so. But when you look back over those bad things that happened, you also integrate the good things that have happened. And I promise you, gratitude ebbs and flows from my heart. I talked about losing my siblings, one in December and the other in February of this year. So December 2024 and February 2025. And these sisters were like my mothers. I mean, my sisters are fantastic, right? So I was, not just me, my family was just devastated by the losses because they were unexpected. But I think about that song often. You know, I wasn't promised great days, but when I think about it, I'm so grateful about the days I had with them because they brought me so much joy. So I could sing that song with that house beat. I wanted to beat the table, but that wouldn't be allowed because that beat is like, it's a different beat. So hyped up beat. So check it out. It's on iTunes, YouTube. Kim J. I think that I would take away money. And I say that in a way because when I think about what life was in COVID, now follow me, okay? Just think about it. When COVID happened, humanity stood up. We made sure our neighbors ate. We made sure they were safe. They were taken care of. We entertained them. And it didn't cost anything but kindness, time, compassion, care. And at the end of the day, when somebody needed something, they said, well, I got toilet paper. And then somebody else will say, well, I got bleach. And you give me that, I'll give you this. It was a season of just understanding, and money wasn't even a factor. And when you take money out of the equation, you take away all of these hierarchical attitudes and energies. You put people in a place where, we can help each other. I told my family, as soon as I get enough money, I'm buying a compound. I said, with all the creativity you all have, builders, artists, you can hammers and nails and you can grow things. We're going to be in a space where we could just be self-sufficient because technically we don't need anything but to be able to be safe and eat and be well. And all the time it's not about the money. But I would just the racism for no reason would have to go right with that. So it's a twofold kind of approach for me. But I think in a way, if we took away the classisms, it would be a better world in my eyes. Let me tell you, as I wipe away this tear, because another one might pop out, being a part of CLF has tapped into a part of me that I didn't know I needed to be tapped into. I am with a group of amazing people. They have been involved in community, blood, sweat, and tears, pouring out with compassion and passion. I've been in my space doing those things. I've been in the healthcare field so long and ministry for so long that I've just been in that avenue. But they are so diverse in how they help and support. They are amazingly smart. I thought I didn't belong in that space. But when I got there, I felt like home. I felt like this is the pathway, my journey I'm supposed to be on. I'm learning so much. I feel so included. When I self-excluded myself mentally, like are you really supposed to be here? Maybe you should lend this spot to someone else. But I am so glad CLF chose me to be a part of this cohort and to be in a space with such beautiful energy, because I'm learning so much and I'm expanding and stretching myself in ways I hadn't thought of before or think I could do. So being a part of this experience for me is life improving. I try to catch myself when I say spending time with people or I'm spending time with the group. I'm sharing time with them, because spending means I'm giving it away and it doesn't come back to me. But I'm sharing time with them. So as I share, we're getting and giving, and I appreciate the space. So CLF has tapped a part of me that is now growing and like a chia pet. And I feel so blessed by it. If I had a superpower, I would heal, because healing is multifaceted. It is not just about sickness. It's about healing poverty, healing deficits, healing pain, healing, because we've all been hurt. Hurt looks different, but many of us is on a cellular level in spaces and places we thought we healed, but it's still there. And if people were able to release that pain and be healed from that energy, they can move forward and see things in a different light. So I would be a healer. I would just walk by people like, I wouldn't even say anything. I would just boop. They'd be like, ooh, I feel different. And I just keep moving. But I would be the secret healer. Healing money, deficiencies, everything. Thank you for having me. I feel really special. And I appreciate this time of sharing time with you.